Gentleman is recognized.
Very well. I want to start, first of all, by thanking the chair and ranking member of the committee, Chairman Takano and Ranking Member Rowe. I appreciate the work on this bill and the committee bringing this forward so early on in the year. I also want to thank Congresswoman Annie Custer for co-sponsoring this amendment. I offer this as one of many veterans who has depended on VA mental health services. Like so many other veterans, I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress after my service in Afghanistan and Iraq. When I returned home to Maine after completing my service, I struggled a bit. It took me over a year to accept that I actually needed help of any kind, but when I did finally get to that point, one thing that helped me was readjustment counseling at a local vet center. Readjustment counseling is another term for mental health services that help veterans and their families transition from the battlefield to civilian life. Readjustment counseling helped me to better understand that the physical and emotional reactions I had returning from Iraq were, in fact, normal. And once I understood this, it became easier for me to deal with these reactions head-on. I know firsthand how easy it is for real life to get in the way of seeking the mental health care that a veteran needs. You'll make almost any excuse that might come your way, a reasonable excuse sometimes to avoid seeking these services. And so I think it's important to knock down those barriers and make it as easy as possible for veterans to access the ability to go to an appointment. And, knowing about how difficult it can be sometimes when life gets in the way, I'm not surprised that 10% of veterans have had to cancel a necessary VA appointment because they didn't have child care. When you consider that number, it's clear that veterans and their families sometimes need access to child care so they can get to their mental health care appointment. This bill, the Veterans Access to Child Care Act, makes that child care available to vets and their families when they need it. None of my fellow veterans should have to choose between caring for their child, for their children, and getting the mental health care that they need. And just like I did, many veterans need readjustment counseling. My amendment makes sure that readjustment counseling services are covered under this bill. I urge my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to support this important amendment. I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentleman reserves. For what purpose does the gentleman from Tennessee rise?
Thank you, Mr.